Should you rent or buy in the 757? A lot of people I work with ask me, should they rent or buy? And there's pros and cons to both. It really just depends on your situation. I'm your local Hampton Roads realtor here in the 757. So let's go. If you're renting, here's some pros and cons. You have lower upfront costs. Usually you have to pay first month's rent, your security deposit, and if you have pets, then you have to pay a pet deposit, or in some cases, they call it a non-refundable pet fee. You will also have to pay pet rent, and that's per animal. And this doesn't include service or emotional support animals. A lot of rentals also now require renter's insurance. Then there's your utilities like water, sewer, trash, and your electric. If you have gas, then gas. And if you live in a place where they have oil, yes, there are still people that use oil, then you have to buy oil. If you're renting a house where the property manager does not provide landscaping service, then you're responsible for the landscaping. If you're not able to hire a landscaper to do it for you, then you have to go out and buy the equipment, like a lawnmower, an edger, maybe a leaf blower, maybe a shovel, leaf bags, whatever you need to upkeep and maintain your yard. And then in some cases, if you need a lot of lawn equipment, then you need a shed. So now depending on where you're living, your rent could be more than a mortgage payment. Renting is more flexible. Every landlord may have their own expectations. Please follow whatever your lease says. But usually a tenant will have to give 60-day notice whenever they want to move out. So if your job or plans change, provided you've given the right notice to vacate, you turn over your keys and your home is in good, clean condition, ideally better than when you got it, you should get your entire security deposit back and you're good to go. You can just leave. Renting can be less responsibility. Maintenance and repairs are handled for you. Your heat or AC stops working and the HVAC system is older than the house itself, guess what? The landlord has to fix that or replace it. I rented out my house. The AC kicked the bucket during a heat wave. I know this thing was on its last leg. It was from Sears. Anyone remember Sears? I had to replace an HVAC system and it was over $15,000. As a homeowner and a landlord, yes, I signed up for this when I decided to rent out my home. But I could still say that was expensive. Two things can be true at the same time. But I offered to buy fans or AC units while the new one was getting installed the same day that it broke. They even offered to pay the difference in electricity if they had to run a bunch of fans or AC units. And they were just blown away by how fast I had someone out there replacing that AC unit. And yes, it was an old unit. So why didn't I replace it before I rented it? That thing worked so good. They don't make things like they used to, but I digress. If something breaks, not from tenant misuse or tenant neglect, then it falls on the landlord to pay to fix or replace whatever breaks. But when in doubt, refer to your lease or call a lawyer attorney. Some rentals come with amenities like a pool, a gym, a clubhouse, maybe a playground and a dog park. But that's all shared. If you want to share gym equipment, you could just as easily get a gym membership to wherever you want to work out. If you're active duty or a veteran, you can work out on base for free. And I feel bad for anyone that doesn't have a dog. But some people are allergic, or they live in a no pets building, or whatever the reason. There are dog parks everywhere. Google Maps can take your fur babies to almost any dog park. And some people don't like pools at all. How clean is it? I mean, it's shared. Has anyone gone to a pool, you're in swimming, and notice it's been hours and no one has gotten out of the pool? Does anyone have an indoor pool? Yeah, the ceiling leaked a lot whenever it rained, and this was a rental. And to replace the roof was over 17 grand. And at that time, I was already looking for a fourth job anyway. But if you do what you love, does it really work? My body says, yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think I just herniated a disc in real time. If I could just get this lidocaine patch on my whole body, that would be great. Okay. Oh God. This lidocaine patch is not doing anything. Just like this lidocaine patch, there are some landlords that don't fix anything. I could never. You want to know something that you're not doing when you pay your rent? You're not building any equity. Your rent payments don't go towards ownership. You pay your rent and poof, it's gone. Rent can increase over time, and yet I've heard the stories, the landlord raised the rent $400, they never fixed anything, no upgrades. And I also hear the other side, when owning a home, your property taxes and insurance go up, and they usually do. So if you have a fixed rate mortgage, that number never changes. But your property taxes and in your insurance, it can. In renting, you have less control over the space, how many pets you can have, the kind of pets you can have, upgrades. If you're buying a property, some pros and cons. If you're building equity over time, it's an investment in yourself. More stability, especially with a fixed rate mortgage. You can customize the home however you want, unless you live in an HOA, or you live somewhere where they have certain restrictions. But usually you can customize your home however you want. There's potential for the home to increase in value over time. There's higher upfront costs when buying a house, like down payment, earnest money deposit, closing costs, inspections, surveys. It adds up. Even if you do everything right, the buyer does their due diligence, the inspections, and everything is clear. Once you own a house, you're responsible for the maintenance and repairs. It's less flexible if you need to move quickly. So we got a lender and bought our first house. I thought that was going to be our forever house, but the Navy said, ultimately, my mortgage was cheaper than my rent. If you're planning to stay in one place for a few years and you're financially ready, buying can be a great option. But if you need flexibility or aren't quite ready for the upfront costs, renting is still a solid choice to help you figure out what makes the most sense for you. So to summarize, should you buy or rent? How much do you spend and how much can you afford to spend monthly? The differences are time, money, responsibility. So it's what works for you. There's pros and cons to everything, and it's whatever works for you. Should you rent or buy in the 757?